Hey, what up? Welcome back. So I just reached Master Rank 1, in case the title didn't give it away. Now, I'm going to talk about how I got there and one small change I made to the deck that's really insignificant. And um, I don't have any live commentary of the games I played, so I'm just going to replay a couple of the games. Basically, it's the last like 6 games before I reach Rank 1. I was just kind of playing off stream, so I wasn't really recording myself playing. But yeah, I did get there. So we did reach Master Rank 1 with Labrynth, and yeah, like it's been pretty good. It's been pretty good. Like I like the way the decks run. Um, Even though most of the time it feels like I'm in a bad position, I can easily come back from it. And yeah, it's been pretty awesome. I didn't think I was gonna be able to reach Master Rank 1 with this particular deck because if you didn't know, I just started playing this deck about maybe 2 3 weeks ago, so I was unfamiliar with a lot of the combo lines and made a lot of different alliterations to the deck. And yeah, and this is where I'm at right now with the deck, so I don't think I can get any better with the deck or what I can particular change about it. So, in case you've never seen it before, here it is. This current change is going to be stated for the next format, which is going to start on the 31st. But I decided to go ahead and change the deck right now to what it would look like when I'm playing on the 31st. And it carried me through all the way from Master Rank 3 to Master Rank 1. And surprisingly worked out pretty well. Now, the one small change I made here was I took out Garura, the fusion monster, because I just never dumped that thing. Ideally, you're supposed to dump it with the Tri Brigade Link monster to draw a card, but that never really comes up for me. And the idea was if I was gonna use Dogmatica Punishment to snipe out a small monster or something with 1500 less defense, I can might as well draw a card, right? That never really came up. So I almost 100% always dump um, Entis. I don't think I've ever dumped anything else. Maybe I dumped a Chaos Angel one time to hit something that was a little bit bigger, but other than that, I always dumped the Entis with the punishment. And so I decided to just take that out and put an Underworld Goddess. Maybe I'll come, there's maybe monsters I won't be able to deal with, namely something like Boro End Dragon. That thing's a little annoying to deal with, or something that is just a towers type monster that I might not be able to deal with. So I decided to just throw in Goddess of the Underworld again. Chance of me summoning it probably near zero. Like but I like the option to have it. So, all right. So this is what the deck looks like. I don't think I really need to explain too much. It's not as heavily on the traps. It's definitely more heavy on the monsters and being able to just kind of play on your opponent's turn and things like that. But yeah, let's take a look at my match history, right? So I ended one of my streams yesterday, right here, right? So this is the last game I played. So from here onwards was rank 2, so I won 4 games in a row. Then I lost 1 game, then I won back another game, then won my final game to make it to rank 1. Yeah, so let's go ahead and play it from here upwards, and it should be pretty quick. Like the longest game I had was maybe like 5 turns. So let's go ahead and replay this one, and I'll kind of talk about the match as I sort of remember what happened. So I'll make pauses and whatnot here. Alright, so he goes first. He plays Cash. I'm playing good old Labrynth here. He decides to go for Spring, which I thought was interesting. So I don't know what happened there. I think he misclicked there because he dumps the Merly but doesn't activate it. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. Gets that back and sets 2 to pass. So it wouldn't have mattered. So if he dumped Merly, I would have used the Druid Swarm to get rid of it. So I just do it anyway. So, but I decided to go ahead and try to play it during his turn. So I activate all this. Dump the Chandelier. Set big welcome. He does that. Doesn't matter to me. Right now, I think I'm just trying to snipe out his back row because I'm a little afraid of what he has set back there. So we get a big lady here. We turn the clock. In hindsight, maybe I should have summoned out Bistreal, Druid Swarm, and then do the late, then activate that, just so I can recycle Bistreal. But I think at this point, I think I wanted on the board just to kill those two monsters. So I do the sensible thing and just use Lady first. He activates that. Imperms. Which makes my Lady a little useless. But his board is super weak. Like, he banishes a bunch of my Entis, but I don't really particularly care. So we're just doing the hand loop again. So here I'm trying to go for Chaos Angel, just to get rid of the birth too, but he ends up just scooping, so not much to say about that one. All right, let's go ahead and move on to this one here. I think with most of these games, I maybe won 40%, 40-ish% of the die roll, so. Yeah, as you can kind of see, like I'm just going second all the time, so. But it doesn't matter too much. Like you can always do something here. So I'm playing against Rika. I'm not 100% familiar with the Rika decks. I do know what Teardrop does, and she's pretty annoying. But his board is pretty weak, so I decided that I needed every single card in my hand except for Lady, because Lady would just get sacked off. So I decided to just try this route where I'm gonna try to challenge his Rika with, or his Teardrop with the Labrynth here. He sacrifices it, that's fine. Max sees me. Get that back in hand. We're just gonna hand loop again, sorta. I got the Lady because I want to use her next turn to summon her, and then use the Labrynth again to sort of gain control. Here he goes into the tree, but I have a big welcome in the graveyard. And that was the other plan, was to use big welcome and then hand loop the Chandelier again. That's why I got the Tovi. So I get Tovi, Chandelier, just dump them, and just hand loop again over and over, and then basically just abuse the Labrynth. So that was pretty good. All right, let's move on. Was that the game? Oh, this is not the turn 3 game. Okay. Okay, this time I think I go first. So our hand is kind of like ass, honestly. He Ash Blossoms it, so my hand is looking like hot dog. So I decided to just go and summon out this. And the reason why I do this is just in case if I'm playing against a tier, I can just banish it from the grave or from field, or I have the also the option of bouncing it back to my hand. But I forget exactly what I do here, so. He tries to get rid of that, so he forces my activation on that. So what I do is I grab Ariana, search with Ariana, grab a Chandelier, So I dump this to kind of set up my graveyard, and then also grab another big welcome. I forgot to activate Max C here. I just don't know why. I totally forgot about Max C. So he does his thing. He mills a bunch of stuff for me, and he mills like a Keldo here. He does a bunch of chaining. I chained his my Keldo to target a bunch of his stuff. And he chains in response, targeting my stuff in my graveyard. And I still haven't used Max C quite yet. I think this is where I activate the Max C, just to force him to, before I held priority and force him to do, because I had a feeling he's going to rank 4. And he doesn't, so that's fine with me. So his board is pretty weak, because I think that's a Scarm or whatever, but my monsters are strong enough to just run over his entire board. And once that's cleared, I go ahead and get a big lady. It allows me to chain a bunch of stuff, allows me to get other lady out. At this point, I was feeling confident on just attacking his hand. Unfortunately, I sort of messed up because I had the Bistrils, but the way I messed up was he doesn't have a monster for me to activate this at spell speed 2, so I messed up a little bit there. So he does that. I know he has Cry Me, which was fine. We'll just waste it, right? So because we're still in the battle phase, so he's afraid of it. So I go Mammut, banish that. Activate that search for it, and then I go Chaos Angel here. So I still make a comeback, banish that, and then he scoops there. So I made a little blunder, but yeah, just force it. I was doing all that while we're still in battle phase, just to make him kind of fear it a little bit. But I was just in my head, I was still setting up for a Chaos Angel, and that worked out well for me. I did mess up just not activating the Maxi, but that's all me here. My hand's kind of ass too if you look at it, because I drew the second Fenrir, so I discarded the Fenrir because I don't think I'm gonna be able to use it. So he ashes that, which is interesting because he knew I had a big welcome Labrynth. That's fine. So I chained Maxi in response to that, because his ash is gone. So the only way for him to stop it now is to, you know, I preemptively chained the Maxi just in case he goes into a Castira, so I at least get the free draw off of that. So I banished the Diviner face down because I think Diviner's a pretty important hit. He mills a bunch of stuff. So we're down the card advantage, but I'm like not 100% scared quite yet. I decided to go ahead and just pop a card in his hand, which is sometimes a mistake. Like I'll admit, like popping a random card in their hand sometimes is just really bad. End up hitting a snow here, which is also bad news for me. I probably should have just hit the scream, honestly. But, you know, me being greedy. So he's doing the Maxi challenge. I'm thinking he's just going to try to OTK. Because my board is weak right now. Like, I have nothing. So if he gets out Reinhardt, basically just gets rid of this. And I'm basically within Death's door. He does a bunch more special summonings. I get an Ash Blossoms, like sure, I might as well use it now. I don't have any other targets to use it with. And he chains the Fairy Tale Snow. Draws me a card. So I mean, my hand's not bad if I survive, right? Looking at this. So he goes for this guy to try to double up the attack. Luckily, I have imperm it. So saves me a little bit of life points. So it makes a Zeus after that. But it's only on one material Zeus, so it's not like the greatest. So I drew my last welcome because I think he milled my other two welcomes here. So, but I also had I think Medora in the graveyard. No, I have a Keldo in the graveyard. In his graveyard, he has a Keldo also. So I activate Chandelier. I go ahead and activate another one. This time I dump Ariana. So I chain. I activate Keldo targeting my own stuff. I targeted my own Fenrir and I targeted my own Big Welcome. And targeted his Keldo, and he responds by targeting a bunch of other stuff. Targets my Chandeliers, which is fine. Well, I wasn't expecting him to resolve anyways. So we were able to set that. So now I just gonna start off with the Fenrir, right? Summon Fenrir, try to activate it, but he just bounces back to my deck. A chain in response. Right now, I'm just trying to get something big on the board. Maybe go for I think Yisu into Zeus is what my plan was. I think it's a Merly, and then I set that and I blow up his Zeus, so that way he doesn't get another. Then he has a Scream on top of that, or Cry Me, I guess. Which this doesn't really shuffle it. I thought, oh, he has a Cry Me. I thought it was a Skulliek. So he shuffles it back. It's like, okay. It's not looking too great for me right now, right? So he has Rickolos, a bunch of those chicks. Sure, I just get that. And I guess the reason why I'm getting Coup Clock is I plan on activating Welcome Labrynth, searching for a trap with Lady, and setting that, and then being able to use it immediately. I was trying to get Barrier. So my plan, my course, I guess my train of thought right here, right? Is to since I have Welcome Labrynth in the graveyard already, Big Welcome, during his standby or main or whatever, well, before his main, I would return the Rickolos back to his deck. That would trigger maybe my small Welcome, which is fine. I don't really care. All my furniture is gone. I would then activate big regular Welcome. Then returning the Kaleido Heart, or trying to get Barrier, but I think he sort of messes with me, so we'll see right here, right? He decides to go in there Fairy Tale again. Puts this face down, okay. See, I would have drawn the card off of Ariana too, but unfortunately he flipped it face down. Plays a Max C, but I don't plan on summoning too much. I just want to be able to have two ladies on the board. Because the plan is I need to keep my level 8s on here. Be able to use another Welcome Labrynth again. I don't know why he attacks this, I guess he forgets. Goes Abyss Dweller. Here is where I messed up a little bit. I don't think I needed to activate Imperm. But I do anyways, just to see. Yeah, chain this on top of it. He doesn't respond and he does that. Which is fine with me. I was trying to get that barrier the entire time. Here I messed up again because I should have just done this during standby phase rather than going to main. Because in my main I want to use pop extravagance, but um, I messed up. He activates this, targets my Skoliak, which is fine. I could care less. I'm just trying to get rid of Kaleido Heart here. He sacrifices it. It's supposed to come back. I'm chaining this, chaining more stuff. Activate this chaining, probably calling fusion, so not letting it come back. But I did mess up a few times there. But my board state was, good enough. All right. This is one that I lost here. This was against the mirror match. I thought I had a decent hand, but I think his hand was just better than mine's. Like normally, I think this hand is pretty decent, right? So like you get this out, and you activate Labrynth, and set 2, and you have a couple interruptions. He does the same, right? So it's like, okay. Where it gets messy is he has a gamma. I guess I wasn't reading the gamma. So that's where it sucked. So I activate Big Welcome and try to impermanent. What I was trying to do is kill off Driver so he can't go into Omega or he can't go into Chaos Angel. And then yeah, he ends up having Druid Swarm anyways. Goes into Chaos Angel, targets my Labrynth, that's fine. He targets that. I chain response, dumping both. He has 2 more cards in hand, and I was like, okay, even though I only have 1 card, I had a pretty good feeling that I can out this board. There was only maybe one card I would lose to or something like that, but I draw this. Doesn't really matter too much. So I activate Welcome Labrynth. Try to get out Lady here. Activate her effect, targeting the Welcome Labrynth. So I have to use this. Maybe in hindsight I could have waited a turn. I was just trying to get rid of this to go into more stuff, get my furnitures back. But yeah, he had a Welcome Labrynth, which he returned this, and I didn't end up returning it. So that caused me to miss my furnitures, both my furniture triggers. And now he has something that's bigger than me. So unfortunately, I think that's where it went down. Is that if it was any other trap, I think it would have been fine. Even skill drain, I didn't care for too much. But he had a welcome, big welcome, which screws with my big welcome play. And yeah, I can basically just lose from there. He just runs my lovely over. So that was a big, unfortunate, big oofs. All right, and then let's play 2 more, and I think that will be it. So looking at my hand, it's pretty ass. Like a lot of my hands have been kind of like looking like this. So he goes, he summons like this thing. So I know it's Casteria, but I guess his hand is not that good. So he goes into Tenyi, whatever's, and activates that. He automatically uses Max C, so I just respond to that with the big welcome here. I just try to use Labrynth. He ends up banishing it. He has effect failure, so I forgot he had I was under Max C, so I just let him draw a card. But for me, I think it was fine. Like, it's not a big deal. I had plenty of ways to out his board. That also big welcome too. So I use the big welcome, get rid of his Draco, draw a card here. And here I just dumped a lovely, grab another big welcome, activated terrors, target that, chain lady here, set another welcome, give him a max C, and basically here I'm just playing on ulti-K'ing him essentially. And yeah, he scoops. So yeah, pretty, like, I went from a pretty bad hand to you know, a playable and winnable hand. Look at my hand here too. Same thing. I have to kind of plan out my way of playing. So that's the most important thing about playing this deck, is just taking a look at your hand and then planning out what you're gonna do this turn during their turn, and then what you're gonna do the turn after. So I think with Labrynth, that's one of those things. Just planning out a lot of your moves ahead of time, so that way you just don't make a huge mistake or a huge blunder. So he dinosaurs. I was like, all right, might as well do a 1-for-1 trade. So he goes small worlds, and it's like, okay. Miscellaneous sword is pretty broken card. Banishes it. So here, because of miscellaneous swords effect, I don't imperm anything. I just let it all happen, because I think they become unaffected by the effects anyways. So I let him cook. Just, you know, if it's the ultimate Tyranno, if that's his best card that he can bring out, then imperm can deal with it during my turn. So I'm not too worried about it. So he draws all that, and it's like, all right, cool. This board I can definitely challenge and break pretty easily here. So I just imperm the ultimate Tyranno, activate this, and then go for the big welcome, because I have Coup Clock in hand. So activate Coup Clock, do big welcome. I blow up another card. I set a card. Yeah, the welcome again. Go to the battle phase. Maybe I should have popped the Link Removal. Doesn't matter. So he draws a card, and I think that's basically the game. Because I have interruptions, I have Max C, and I also have big welcome. So yeah, so that was a lot easier. Like, I had a 8-game win streak here, and then lost a game here, and then I'll beat these two, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, once again, the deck worked out really well in this format, with the modifications I have made to it, and I suspect that it's gonna work really well next format too, just because sprites in tiers are gonna be knocked down and peg. So tiers, I'm not gonna be really worried about. I'm gonna be a little bit worried about D-Links, Dragon Links, and then maybe a few other things, maybe more Labrynth decks. But I think with the way our deck is set up, we can like beat most of those decks. We can probably beat Dragon Links pretty not easily, but we should have enough interaction, enough things to mess with their criticality points where we should be able to stabilize. And every other deck in this format, I think we have a good chance of beating, whether we're going first or second. That's why I've added so many cards that are going second, because as you kind of see, because we're playing a trap deck, same with trap tricks, right? If you're playing a trap deck, you just need a ton of ways to interact with your opponents, hopefully during their first turn, and that way it slows down the game enough so that you can at least have a turn to do something, set your traps and wait a turn to, again, because otherwise if they set up a bunch of army negates, you're basically done. Like against sprites, if they set up a carrot, you're just like, you can't really do much. So yeah, all this is kind of just to interrupt, especially Tears, Medora to hit the graveyard stuff. Fenrir to, in case we go second, we can summon Fenrir and kind of deal with their board by just going to summon Fenrir, search, enter battle phase. Or if we have Fenrir going first, we summon Fenrir, search, hopefully bait out an Ash, bait out an Imperm, something like that, right? The card that I have trouble dealing with is Gamma. I just don't see it coming. I always play into it. I always play as if my opponent doesn't have Gamma, so that's just on me. So that kind of like word of advice, just maybe sometimes let them have a monster first on the board before you do anything. But I like to jump the gun. I like to be preemptive on my attack and my setting up. So I will play into the Gamma, and that will basically just cost me the game, especially against like the lab matchup. Like that's the only card I really lose to, is like the Gamma. Me is like, oh crap, I think I'm donezo for there. You could play Gamma in this deck. I just don't feel like it's super necessary since we have a bunch of other plays. Fenrir, I kind of hate sometimes if I have a bunch of monsters on the board, then he's just kind of dead in my hand. But at the same time, he's great food for the furniture. I haven't missed EVV. I think taking out EVV was actually a pretty okay choice. And yeah, I guess there's not a game where I thought I really needed it or wanted to see it. So yeah, I think that's not worth really running in the deck anymore, especially we're going more heavy on monster. Like I think I'm playing 25 monsters and like barely any other spells. Other cards you could potentially play is Call by Graves. I don't think it's super necessary for this deck. You don't really care for Max C as much. Lots of times my opponents Max C me, they draw one card. There's a few times obviously they draw more, but most of the time if they preemptively Max C you, you can just set a bunch of cards and just pass turn, so they just neg themselves with one card for no reason. But you will lose to Ash though, so that's one thing that's nice about Call by Graves, is that you're able to stop Ash Blossom. We don't have any way of really stopping it right now in the main deck other than doing a funny play. I saw the world champ, he does a weird play with Labrynth here. So what he does is he has Ariana, Cool Clock, and any of the furniture, right? So he summons out Ariana, searches for Lovely, adds Lovely to hand, then goes Clue Clock, furniture, discarding Lovely, setting Big Welcome, and then he goes summons back the Clue Clock, then uses Clue Clock plus Ariana to go into Mudcracker, and then activate Mudcracker, discarding a card to summon out Lovely, and then activating the Big Welcome. So what that does is it blocks them from ashing you. So at any point, if they wanted to ash, they might have ashed to Ariana, because he's going through all that trouble, right? And I think at least in my opinion, it's like most of the time people will ash Ariana before you even get to the point where you can't activate Big Welcome. But doing that, he nets himself a Big Welcome, and he still has a Mudcracker on the board. So I mean that's kind of an interesting play, but I think it's really convoluted. But I don't know how often that will come up at all during our normal gameplay. But his deck also, he plays triple Clue Clock, so I'm guessing that comes up more often for him. I'm only playing one Clue Clock, so that rarely comes up for me. So yeah. Clue Clock rarely gets hit by a Bistro, like my Stovey and Chandelier gets hit by that thing all the time. Yeah, I feel like I don't really need that many Clue Clocks in the deck. And if I do need it, I just search it with Ariana. Anyways, guys, I think that's all I really want to talk about. Hit Master Rank 1 for this particular season. I think next season, if I were to go for Masters again, um, I think it'd be a lot easier, at least until a Rise Heart comes out. Um, just because, um, yeah, just because tiers and sprites, which are I think my particularly are the worst matchups for me. So with them gone, I think we have a really good chance next season to basically just be um, ranking up to Masters really easily. Anyways, that's it. I will see you guys next time. If you have any comments, any questions on how to pilot the deck, just let me know, and I'll try to my best to um, answer any questions and give you guys any tips and based off of my experience. So that's it. See you guys next time. I'll be on Armor Core. I'll probably be posting some Armor Core gameplay, and yeah, peace.